Hi, it's Rich Hoffman here. So I did get a call from the White House recently in regard to Liberation Day. I was asked some questions about how I thought Trump's tariffs would benefit the United States and business in general. Because I think what they were planning on doing was on the big announcement they had on April 2nd. They were going to have a bunch of people come out and provide testimony and kind of a town hall kind of setting. And they wanted stories from people out there that do big things to say important contributions to why the tariffs were going to work. And I think they restructured what they were going to do and ended up being a good Trump speech where he was kind of the center of attention, which is probably appropriate for all this kind of thing. But while they were putting the whole event together, I was called to talk about how the tariffs would benefit the United States, and that I would, offer my statements to the public and in whatever format came up. So even though it didn't quite turn out where I was a part of it directly, I thought it was important. The things I did tell them would be good to get, out there. I don't normally talk about all these little meetings I have with people in whatever capacity they happen. But this is one, I think, given the nature of the tariffs and the strain and the necessity to get Trump out there and speak outside the White House and give a nice presentation to a nice group, which is important. There's a part two to that, which is how boots on the ground are going to benefit from tariff relationships. And as I was describing it, and I think I would never say this on an orthodox media outlet or at the White House the way that I'm thinking of it, but the way I explained it to the people asking was the best benefit from these tariff relationships is that the world has become encumbered with a bunch of slack-jawed losers. You have a socialist communist world. If you look at the impact of Socialist International over many years and how they are basically in all the European countries and everywhere you go around the world, essentially there's some member of Socialist International there. It rolls into this whole World Economic Forum kind of presentation. Yeah, they all kind of have the same kind of deal going on as far as political philosophy rooted in some kind of Marxism. So the economies of the world are, definitely have been headed in that direction for a long time. So when you look at the trade imbalances, what's looming in the background is all these countries have been facilitating a bad political philosophy with the wealth generated in the United States, covering their losses with trade imbalances. And so the big panic has been, this is the reason for the discussion. The big panic behind all that is that's being taken away when Trump says, well, we'll have a one for one tariff. If you're going to charge us a tariff, we'll charge you a tariff. If you charge us this much, we're going to charge you that much. And it's nice and equal. So this whole idea, you're going to charge us a whole lot and we'll charge you very little, those days are gone. And that's why there's so much panic about it. And this fear of the trade war, being that, well, you can't get your cheap stuff at Walmart, or you're not going to be able to get stuff out of China now because they're not going to manufacture all these things, and all the world's going to be turned to a tailwind of chaos, and that people are all of a sudden going to be very upset because their paper towels aren't going to be there on the shelf when they want them. I'm just telling you the rules of economics. People are going to find a way to make them. The best opportunity to make them is going to generate, because you have to trust capitalism, the hidden hand. Adam Smith, Economics 101. Most everybody else who has studied this stuff in the past has been incorrect. Most of these economists that are quoted on TV all the time all studied the same universities and all studied the same garbage: communism, socialism, Marxism. So the people should be going wealth of nations and understanding that. And when you go in that direction and you put capitalism in charge, you're going to find you'll have your stuff. Your price of eggs will be cheap. everything would be better, and the wage rates will be improved dramatically. It's globalism and looting of the American wealth and redistributing it around the world that is going to go away, and that only benefits the United States. So in that process of globalism, you've redistributed wealth, you've also redistributed the supply chains. So what I said to the White House people was that the best benefit that would be seen immediately is it would force a lot of those suppliers that are in all these crazy, wild countries all over the world that aren't functioning very well, and you take them out of the mix, you get your stuff a lot quicker, and your lead times on order materials goes down a lot. Your prices go down a lot, your supply, the urgency to fulfill orders goes down a lot. But what it is right now is, since so much money is looted and stolen off the top and given to companies that probably should have failed anyway, but they're only propped up because they're in places where politicians have wanted to redistribute those jobs to places that really don't deserve them. So they're being paid to fail. And so when you call them up and say, hey, I need my thing, they're like, hey, get bent. We got our check coming. We don't care if you get your thing or not. Tough luck. And so the attitude they have has been a push off where they don't fulfill orders anymore. And the idea of service has gone completely out the window. And the very first thing that you benefit from when you bring competitive ideas back into the marketplace and you don't subsidize failure with tariff imbalances, trade imbalances, and you force competition to make the best one win, then everybody benefits who is trying downstream to get that thing that whoever makes it. So supply chains are a huge problem, have been a problem everywhere they've been applied. This whole globalist network where everybody's in different time zones, they can't talk to each other, and then they have different rules of engagement, and got all these shipping unions that go on strike and won't bring your thing in. They sit offshore and won't get unloaded. All these delays to the supply chain have hurt the economy dramatically, as opposed to if you had a market-driven economy that is trying to fulfill a market need and they're competing with other people to do it, then ultimately all the benefactors of that product downstream are happy because they get their thing when they want it, and they don't have a whole lot of red tape and nonsense keeping you from getting it. That's been the biggest problem out there. I mean, you're talking about just raw value from goods and services. That's one way to measure success. The other thing is lead times. How long does it take you to get something done? And if you've paid attention to the supply chain since COVID, the big communist infusion of COVID policies, World Economic Forum driven to their Great Reset, everything got longer. And now it's acceptable. You go to a car dealership and you're like, hey, I need a new alternator. Hey, I need a new fuse for this car. Well, that fuse is made in Taiwan, or that thing's made in Indonesia, and there's a three month lead time to get it. Used to be, before COVID, it was on a shelf somewhere. It was sitting, somebody had it always, so you could get it within a few hours of when you needed it. Now it's months. It takes forever to get anything, and everyone sort of shrugs their shoulders and says, well, it's going to take a while to get it. You can't get that. You want to order a car, you want to get a special Corvette made. It takes you a year and a half sometimes to get these things. As opposed to just, hey, right there it sits on the lot, I'm going to grab it now. The more that all these goofballs have tampered with supply chains, the worse it's become. And if there's anything that will immediately be helped by all this competitive talk, this network of destruction that has been created by these crazy lunatic globalists, if there's anything that will benefit the system quicker, it will be these trade deals, because it's going to force competition. Some of those places that are hard all over the country, all over the world, that aren't doing a very good job of getting the thing, for whatever cost it costs, they're going to have to follow a competitive model, because the tariffs take away all the free money that comes in off the trade imbalance. And so the new dependency on getting paid for something becomes actually performing to the product, and not just getting some fake money created by globalism, where one country is penalized because they generate a lot of revenue, and the other country, because they're trying to redistribute the wealth, goes to that poor country, and the poor country doesn't perform because, like they do in France, I mean, they may only work 20 minutes a week, and they're off all the time, and they're always on vacation. And when you talk to people around the world, they go on vacation an awful lot. A lot of people in the world that are on 6-week vacations, and every time you call them to get something, they're always on vacation. And that's because they don't fear that the job's going to be gone when they get back. They know that no matter what, these trade imbalances and wealth redistribution is going to have a check in their bank account, no matter if they perform well or not. And you got to change that, and that's what Trump's trade tariffs are going to do, is force everybody to compete for their job, not just sit around and get subsidized for failure. And that will improve supply chains dramatically. And I think that's the number one benefit from these trade tariffs. And that's exactly what I told the White House. And I think they're very receptive to that. And again, I offer anytime they want a spokesman for something that they're doing, I'm sure that I always offer my help to them any way they need it. Because they're doing a good job, and it takes guts to do these kinds of things, to call things the way they really are. And it really takes guts to stand up for capitalism when the rest of the world is trying to push one world order into socialism, and then hide it behind these trade policies. Those who have invested in that failure are upset, clearly, but tough luck, because they bet against the United States, they bet against capitalism, and if you did that, you deserve to choke on it. If you bet on the United States, you bet on capitalism, you're probably going to do really well in the next few years. If you bet on globalism and trade imbalances, you're going to be pretty upset. And that's on you. Tough luck. It's the way it goes. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. Anyway, have a good day. Trade tariffs are good, and Trump's doing a great job. And I can't wait to see every day I get up what he's going to do next, because it's all great. It's all wonderful. Gotta love Trump and MAGA. Well, have a good day. See you later.